So let's turn now to the next Gatha paper, Series 2, Paper 3, The Life Power. On breath depends the capability and efficiency with which one does one's work thoroughly. Shortness of breath gives one impatience, lack of endurance, and irregularity of the rhythm of the breath gives one confusion and makes one inclined to be easily upset. Breath being the life power, it is the same life power which gives one strength to endure all things. One always will find that those who easily get cross, quickly upset, instantly annoyed, have something wrong with the breath. People, not knowing their difficulty, get annoyed with them. They're put aside and considered disagreeable people. What they need is the training of breathing. When their body and mind is repaired, one will find no more disagreeableness in their nature. Then the artist who gets tired of her work and feels a lack of enthusiasm to complete her work and feels a lack of interest and feels absence of inspiration, it all is often caused by some disorder of the breath. Regular and rhythmic breathing gives health to body and mind both. Inspiration comes from above, but as a light. It is the work of the mind to receive it. If the mind is not ready to receive it, the inspiration will come, but will not be realized. It is just like the difference between the gong of metal and the gong of wood. The former will resound, the latter will not resound. It is not the fault of the one who strikes the gong, it is the gong itself which does not resound. So it is with the mind which is receptive to the inspiration and the mind which cannot conceive it. But to every mind, inspiration comes. The only difference is that one receives it, the other rejects it. Right breathing makes the mind vibrate, and vibration is the sign of life. All that vibrates more is more living. What vibrates less is less living. So it is with trees and animals. They show their life in their vibration. India's greatest scientist, Jagadish Chandra Bose, has spoken at a university in England on the subject of trees breathing. Among horses, the horse one selects as the best is the one whose nostrils are fully open and whose breath is fuller, which is the horse which shows in its expression, in its eyes. A good horse shows vibrations by the quivering of its skin when its back is patted. It is not like a stone-like horse which takes one step after 10 whips given on its back. In the human being, the same way of life can be seen, which is termed in the Hindustani pani, which means water. They say that a horse or a person has a watery nature, which means a liquid nature, living, pliable. And this life breath gives to the body. This life breath gives to body and mind. So Murshid speaks here about two different kinds of problems in the breath. One is shortness of breath, which is breathing up here, breathing up at the top of the chest rather than breathing right down. So one isn't using one's diaphragm. The full breath means breathing right down into the belly. And so if one is only breathing right here, one is not breathing well, one isn't breathing deeply. And then there's irregularity, which comes with an absence of rhythmic breath. And when the breath becomes fast and then slow and isn't evenly paced. When the inhalation and the exhalation are balanced, attention is keen, energy is strong, awareness is clear. And so the one who learns Pasi Anfas learns to actually be attentive while breathing. We think that breath is something so intrinsic that there's no reason to bother to attend to it. But on the contrary, by watching oneself breathe, one more and more can find the rhythm that's natural, find your natural rhythm. And then you'll notice when you fall out of that rhythm. Now, if you don't know your natural rhythm, you don't know when you've lost it. And that's when one's got to be on one's guard. Because when you've lost your natural rhythm, whatever you say or do is likely to go wrong. On the other hand, if you see that your breath is out of rhythm, you can stop right there. Then you don't need to then refrain from speaking, refrain from action. Go back to the breath, get it back into rhythm, and then speak or act. Then Moshe goes on to say that inspiration is constantly pouring down upon the world. We mentioned this at the beginning. Each day is a new day, a new creation, a continuous stream of new inspiration. But we are locked into our prior assumptions. And we're not awake, we're not alert, we don't have that liquid, quivering nature that's responsive. We're not like the metal gong that resounds. When the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, received revelation, he described it as like the ringing of a bell. His whole being resounded. There was a sense of intense vibration. And in fact, that which descended upon him descended upon the whole world. But only he was in that state of responsiveness that he could resonate and vibrate and receive it and bespeak it. So that bespeaks the prophetic genius. That is a level of consciousness which is paramount. And we can move toward such a fullness of consciousness by becoming ourselves receptive to what is continuously poured down. Ilham, inspiration. And Moshe describes this as a watery mode of being like water. So taking this cue, we could once again close our eyes and turn within. Feel your feet on the ground or your tailbone anchored in the earth. Feel the sky open above. Feel the crown of your head as if suspended from the sky, and your spine gently hanging down. Whatever burden you have on your shoulders, let it come down to the ground, lift it down, open your shoulders up, open your chest. You can even feel the spaces between your ribs. And in this posture now, we can take up the water breath, make our nature watery, fluid, shimmering, by first of all breathing in through the nose, and as you inhale, feel the ribs, lower down in your rib cage, the side ribs, just down below here, your side ribs, opening out, expanding sideways as you breathe in. And then as you breathe out through your mouth. And don't stop short. Breathe all the way out, slowly, gently, but continuously, holding nothing back to the very end. Breathe all the way out. Empty yourself completely. And you can return to your natural way of breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Sense your state. Keep expanding the belly as you breathe in and going out wide as you exhale. Having taken on now the liquid sensation of the fluid element in the body and mind, now as you inhale, let's be conscious of the light and energy all around us. And as you draw in the breath, draw energy down into the solar plexus, just beneath the sternum, where the rib cage converges in the center. Draw in the energy of the universe into the solar plexus, as though all of the rays of the sun and all of the stars are indrawn and merged into the light which is placeless and timeless. And then as you exhale, from that implicate dimension, feel a new wave of energy surfacing and radiating through the center of your chest. So indrawing light through the solar plexus and radiating as you exhale through the center of the chest. Inhale the fikr, the thought, Badi', the originator. Exhale, Badi', the originator, the creator. Sense your state. Feel your 2 feet on the ground. And when you're ready, we can open our eyes again.